We basically work on everything. It's primarily Agoda's public-facing systems, so the Agoda.com website, the Agoda app, some public-facing extranet portals, some public-facing APIs as well. Most of the front-end systems that we work in are built in the React.js stack. They're usually backed up by BFFs that are built in C#.net, and then we've got a lot of high-volume back-end microservices that we work on that are usually written in Scala and run on the JVM. And these are backed up by data services like Cassandra, Couchbase, MS SQL, Kafka, and we also have quite a large Hadoop cluster as well. So there's a real mix of technologies in the environment. We're not like a Microsoft shop or an Apache shop or anything like that.
We have over 300 engineers working in our area. We broken up into Scrum team of 4 to 8 people in the teams. We practice Agile. We work on 2-week sprint, but fairly per team. We have a very flat organizational structure between our engineers and CTO. There is 2 to 3 levels of management, which for the tech company of 1,200 people is very low.
We give a lot of independence to the engineers. We have a focus on self-managing and self-organizing teams. A good example is we don't have project managers in our area. We got rid of them a long time ago. Instead, what we have is product owners that work within the teams to come up with hypotheses about changes and features, and we validate those through data.
So at Agoda, we're an extremely data-driven culture. And so what that means is that every single feature, every single idea that we do, we put through what we call an A/B test. What an A/B test is we have our existing feature that's sitting on our site or app, and then we have a new feature that's a B variant. It's a hypothesis. It's an idea that a product manager has, a designer has, a developer has, and we put that to the test. And so what that means is that 50% of the traffic will see the A variant, and 50% of the traffic will see the B variant. And then we look at the difference between those two different aspects. And so what this does and why it's very important to us is that it removes all emotions from decisions that are made, and it allows a very bottom-up type of culture. So anybody that has an idea can come in, they can test out their idea, and then we can see what the impact is on the business for the long term.
Over the past few years since I joined Agoda, I saw so many changes happening on all the technical stacks. For instance, on the website, we stopped using jQuery to adopt React.js. On the mobile side, we're using Kotlin and Swift technology. All these migrations were done to improve customer experience, but also to improve the working environment of all engineers.
It's amazing to see Agoda give us the freedom to do the technical work to improve our life at work. Also, improve the business at the same time. The data-driven approach we are using was challenging at first, but it allows us and it teaches us to move smarter by data, not just by our instinct. One of the problems we have with scale at Agoda is not production scale. This one was easy and we solved it long time ago. The one that we have at Agoda is called code at scale. Imagine you have a Git repo where hundreds of developers opening hundreds of pull requests in a week. With this amount of changes, it means if you don't have good processes and automation in place, your code can go bad really fast. But on the other hand, if you have good automation, good processes, you can make a good code go really fast. This is one of the unique problems we deal with in the full stack area at Agoda.
We collect a large amount of data from our production systems, primarily about user behavior that our engineers and POs analyze. Our Hadoop cluster that stores most of it is 29 petabytes in size and growing. We monitor our production systems using an in-house build-time series database. It processes about 4 million messages a second. Netflix system is about 8 million, so we are about half the size of Netflix to give you a comparable size.
We deploy 4 to 5 times a day. This allows us to experiment fast and also change direction fast, which is one of the keys to our success. We utilize a lot of agile practices such as Scrum. Scrum promotes self-organization. The teams, PO and engineer can react to the result of A/B tests and change direction from learning we get from this data without escalation to any management body for approval.
Have you ever wanted to know the internals, the depths of an application? The wise old saying is, you build it, you run it. We here at Agoda have a deep sense of ownership. Right from the ideation to the conception to the implementation. You do it. All your questions around, how does my request go from the browser to the backend data crunching systems? you own it. You take responsibility for building, deploying, and maintaining all your applications. Pretty cool, right?
So if you enjoy working in a fast-moving, multicultural, data-driven environment that fosters ownership and independence, then come and join one of our full-stack teams at Agoda.